Good morning and welcome. As president of Peru State, I would like to thank you for taking the time to come to this very important service to remember Dr. Tom Ediger. And it's heartwarming to see so many friends and students, former students, colleagues, family members, even high school classmates who are here to remember Dr. Ediger. A special welcome to the family of Dr. Ediger, who traveled from a variety of places around Nebraska. Good to have you here. And as I mentioned, we have a couple of Tom's high school classmates who also made the trip to be here as well. And that will be fun maybe to hear a little bit about what they have to say about Tom in high school. Elaine and I are grateful and humbled to join all of you as we remember and celebrate Dr. Ediger's life and what he meant to us. A special thank you to the organizers of this memorial service, Reagan Anson, Linda Moody, Dr. Patrick Fortney, and very close friend of Dr. Ediger's, Dr. Bill Clemente. Thank you for that work. They took care in honoring Dr. Ediger's wishes for a simple memorial service. And so we will try to do that. I want to thank the student ushers for your work today. Here, most of you are music majors, I believe, and Dr. Ediger would be thankful and proud of your work today. And Student Senate, I just found out this morning, put together ribbons, and I think they're passing them out as a way to remember Dr. Ediger. And so if you don't have one yet, you can look for one of the Student Senate members as you leave. This will be a way for us to keep him in our minds beyond this day and this service. I'd also like to thank David Norris for bringing together a group of students and former students and friends who will provide special music. And then our marketing department, Kellen Sailors and Rebecca Johnson, have been working on the slideshow and also the program. Unfortunately, we did not have quite enough programs printed, and so I'll kind of keep you informed as we move through the program on what we're doing. I also want to thank Creative Dining. When we're done here, there will be a lunch that they are donating in the choir room of Gender Fine Arts Building. And if you're not familiar with campus, we can help you find your way across the quad to our recently renovated gender building. So, and then I just want to remind you, there will be a time for reflection in a few minutes where you'll have the opportunity to share your memories, if you care to, about our beloved Dr. Ediger. We're fortunate that a group of students, alumni and friends of Dr. Ediger will perform his original composition, Psalm 121. And as they take the stage, because you don't have a program, all of you, I'll introduce them. So you please come forward at this time. Would you step forward as I call your name? Carmen Norris, class of 2012. Peggy Holloway, former Peru State music professor from 94 to 97. Tammy Parch, friend. Emily Fricky, class of 2010. Blake Loafing, senior music education major. Jake Bartlett, assistant professor of music. Tom Doran, class of 1991. And David Norris, Peru State, accompanied us in class of 2012. Thank you.
I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, who hath made heaven and earth. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. He will not suffer thy joyful to be moved. He that deareth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel, he that keepeth Israel, shall not slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper, thy shade on thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, or the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. And the Lord shall preserve. And the Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore.
Thank you very much. As Dr. Ediger found comfort and inspiration in the words of this psalm, I hope too that you also found comfort and inspiration in those words. Dr. Thomas Ediger, professor of music and director of choral activities at Peru State College, passed away on August 20th, 2014. He was born on May 8, 1950, in York, Nebraska, the son of Milford L. Ediger and LaVon Holmes. He grew up in Aurora and graduated from Aurora High School. Tom was a devoted son to his parents, particularly after his younger sister and only sibling, Karen, died in childhood. Those who knew Tom in high school characterized him as a very bright, creative, musically talented, and thoughtful individual who also had a keen sense of humor. I think we can still relate to that. He was very involved. He was freshman class president, treasurer of his junior class, a member of the Booster Club, member of the Dramatics Club, junior play cast, co-editor of the school newspaper, yearbook staff, National Honor Society, Society for Academic Achievement, and he was chosen to be the commencement class speaker. He was in all the bands, as you can imagine, and choirs, was band captain and student conductor, 1965 USA High School Band Selection, All-State Band Selection, John Philip Sousa Award winner. And his senior year, his classmates voted him most likely to succeed. They certainly knew Tom Ediger well. Following graduation, Dr. Ediger earned a bachelor's degree in music education from the University of Nebraska and a master's degree in piano performance and a doctorate in theory and composition from the University of Northern Colorado. Dr. Ediger also completed postgraduate work at Portland State University, Yale University, and Gray's in Austria. He held a permanent national teacher certification in piano and theory through the Music Teachers National Association. Dr. Ediger joined the Peru State faculty in 1979. That's 35 years ago, but I've been telling people he probably worked 70 years in hours. He was here so much. He served as director of the concert choir and madrigal singers and taught courses in music theory, music history, music education, and piano. He was an active performer, composer, and a popular piano and vocal clinician in the region. His most recent compositions were The Land of Oops, a chamber opera for the madrigal singers, and Psalm 121 for choir, published by Concordia Press, which we just heard. His piano and composition students have often won state and regional competitions. Dr. Ediger founded Peru State Piano Extravaganza, and I'm guessing there are people here who participated in that, in 1990. An annual event that brings more than 200 pianists to campus for a day-long intensive rehearsal time and a final performance where, under his direction, 30 pianists simultaneously played 15 pianos. He coordinated the college's high school show choir festival and annual choral festival honor choir. Dr. Ediger was also director and producer of the college's annual holiday madrigal dinner. Again, I'm sure many of you performed in that or were able to attend that. In addition to his teaching duties at the college, Dr. Ediger served as treasurer of the Nebraska Music Teachers Association, having previously led the organization as president. He was honored by the association in 2008 as their Distinguished Teacher of the Year and Service Award winner. In March 2009, Dr. Ediger was awarded the Music Teachers National Association Foundation Fellow Award in recognition of his service and leadership. He served as director of the Music Teachers National Association West Central Division and as a member of the board of directors. He was on the Music Teachers National Association Foundation Fund's National Development Committee. It's rare that one individual has so much impact on a campus culture. A 3-time winner of the Peru State Teaching Excellence Award, Dr. Ediger was long a master of student engagement. His tireless efforts have been widely recognized throughout southeast Nebraska and the region. Dr. Ediger and his students and their performances have given this campus a treasured sense of heart and soul. He positively influenced the lives of thousands of students throughout his tenure at the college. He was an accomplished musician whose talent, kindness, and commitment to the institution and students continues to be an inspiration. He will be greatly missed. As you listen to the words of that obituary, I think many of us understand that they cannot completely or fully convey the career-long influence that Dr. Ediger has had on individuals' lives and in shaping Peru State College. A professor's legacy is found in the lives and careers of his students, and Dr. Ediger's influence on thousands of students is immeasurable. The outpouring of tributes to him following his death is a testament to this legacy that he's left. I'm going to share 3 that I picked from Facebook that represent the many students who were in his piano studio, current college students, and former students who have chosen careers in the field because of Dr. Ediger. Following that time, you will have an opportunity to share some of your memories. This is from a former student who's now a music educator. I will never forget Dr. Thomas Ediger. I'm heartbroken to hear that such a wonderful man is gone from this world. He pushed me to be my best. He inspired me to have a career in music and gave me the skills I need to do that. Every time I teach piano, I think of him. What a legacy. He will be deeply missed by so many people. Words cannot express the impact that he's made on my life. From a current piano student, Dr. Thomas Ediger was more than just my piano teacher. He was my mentor, my guide, and most of all, my friend. I had no idea the minute I stepped into his studio in 3rd grade, the journey he would take me on. Doc taught me more than just how to play piano. He taught me to be confident. He taught me how to feel and understand music. He taught me what kind of person I was. He never gave up on me, even when I was at my limits, because he believed in me. And from a current student, just a simple line. Doc, your essence lives in our hearts, souls, minds, and in our love for music. We will make you proud. I'd now like to give you the time to share some of your memories. And we're going to have, you have a choice of raising your hand and having a microphone come around to you there or coming to the podium. We're going to begin with Dr. Bill Clemente, his daughter Leah, sharing on behalf of her dad, who was one of Tom's closest friends. So, Leah, please come forward.
Good afternoon. My name is Leah Clementi, and I'm honored to speak today on behalf of my father, Peru State College English professor, Dr. Bill Clementi. In nearly 28 years, I have never seen my father at a complete loss for words. And as anyone who has ever known my father can attest, he is never at a loss for words. But if words cannot begin to quantify absolute grief, my dad's lack of words can. In fact, just a few short weeks ago, when Tom initially arrived at the hospital in preparation for heart surgery, my dad phoned me, and with a smile blanketing his voice, he said, "Well, Leah, I'm driving to Tom's house so I can bring him a clean pair of underwear." And like anyone on the receiving end of this sentence, I momentarily thought of all the hilarious scenarios that could possibly conclude with my dad bringing piano extraordinaire Dr. Tom Ediger a clean pair of underwear. I first met Tom 20 years ago when my dad introduced my brother and me to PSC's annual madrigal dinner. There, we sat mesmerized by the music, the students' delightful energy, and my dad in green tights. Shortly after the show, Tom bounced over to us, got down to my level, and said, "Hi, Leah. I'm told you love to sing." And when my father responded with a wink, "Don't get too excited, Tom. She's not very good," I knew a deep friendship had been formed. And when I later inquired, "Daddy, why in the world did you let Tom talk you into wearing green tights?" he responded matter-of-factly, "Because Tom is my dear friend." Over these many years, I've personally witnessed my dad's relationship with Tom blossom into a beloved and reciprocated friendship built upon 4 pillars of strength: respect, compassion, dignity, and grace. Without fail, Tom delighted in my dad's successes and supported him in darkness. When my family joined Tom for annual Thanksgiving dinner, our stomachs were always full, our laughter always warm. And this past Thanksgiving, our last Thanksgiving together, was concluded with Tom's beautiful music. My dad handled Tom's passing as he did their unconditional friendship, with respect, compassion, dignity, and grace. My dad sat by Tom's side every day, post-surgery, relayed your messages of love and support, and while holding Tom's hand, with his favorite musical pieces playing softly in the background, my dad made the difficult decision to remove life support. Dad, you were Tom's rock. You allowed him to float away peacefully in song, and I know he is so proud of you. Tom, as echoed by the numerous tributes on Facebook, the unexpected void of your passing will be forever navigated. The incredible friendship you showed my father will never be matched, and I know he misses you terribly. My family will deeply miss your presence on Thanksgiving, and we will raise our glasses in your honor for many years to come. Now I'm doing this because, as my dad would say, this would embarrass Tom terribly. So please raise an imaginary glass to the sky. To my dad's best and beloved friend, cheers. Thank you.
Are there others who would like to share? Again, you may raise your hand, and we'll bring a microphone. So I'm this way. And would you introduce yourself as well? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Taylor Sir. For the past 2 years, I was Dr. Ediger's assistant, and I just want to share one thing. This was the final text of Magical Dinner from This Years to Talk. Here's to the man who is wisest and best. Here's to the man who with judgment is blessed. Here's to the man who's patient and kind. Here's to Dr. Ediger from the students he refined. Here's to the man who helped us make art. Here's to the man with Now We Must Part. Here's to the man who brought us all here. Here's to Dr. Ediger from the students he holds dear. That is all.
Are there others?
Hello, I'm Jolynn Brown. I'm a classmate of Tom's from Aurora, Nebraska. I've known Tom since he was in kindergarten, and we've heard a lot of good things about Dr. Ediger and Tom Ediger. But I want you all to know that his friends, his circle of friends back in Aurora, we always knew him as Tommy Lee. And Tommy Lee was my gate to the junior high school. So I'm sure he's really embarrassed by now. But we all knew that Tom would do great things, and he had a wonderful circle of friends and family. And as you heard earlier, we voted him the most likely to succeed. And I just have to say thank you, Tommy Lee. You did us proud.
I'm Beth Ann Brooks. I now live in Lincoln, as does my high school classmate Jolynn. But I grew up in Aurora, and so I went to school all those years with Tommy Lee, and he preferred to be called Tom. Frankly, I wonder if he changed his name to Thomas, because in his yearbook at graduation, it's Tommy Lee Ediger. We had a long, long association. We were both academic strivers, and we studied together from junior high forward. I remember studying with him in the family's big house on 9th Street when his beloved sister Karen was ill and died. We were fast friends with another of our classmates, Jane Daniel Offord, who lives in the United Kingdom now. And I've had email correspondence about her memories with Tom. But to just give you a little insight into the man, we took some challenging math classes. And my mother insisted on talking with her aunt right after the weather was over at 10:07 every night. And Tom and I were always chomping at the bit for my mother to shut up, get off the phone, so we could do our math homework. And we were never able to start it until late night because of extracurriculars, and usually it took till about midnight. But he was a fine, fine student. As Jolynn said, we never had a doubt that he would be the most likely to succeed. I think he did that in his life in total, and certainly at Peru State College. I lived in Detroit for 40 years. I'm a child psychiatrist, and so maybe this parting story will be apropos. One of our classmates, Georgine Kane Strong, who now lives in Rochester, New York, had a favorite baby doll, and she cannot remember why the baby doll was taken to school when we were in high school, but somehow she remembers the culprit who opened the locker and the baby doll fell out, and it, I think, had a china head, and so the baby was in effect deceased. Tom learned of this, and in his inimitable style, thought it would be appropriate that a funeral would be organized for Georgine's baby doll. So as Georgine recounted it, there was a casket. Tom composed a piece, Georgine still possesses this, about the baby doll. In New York. Of course, I would like to lay my hands on it, but next trip she promised to bring it. And our friend in England sang, and Tom accompanied her along with the piece that he wrote. And while I don't remember it as vividly as the baby doll's owner, I was one of the mourners in the congregation. And a gentleman who was just older than us, who was also very active in the band, was the officiating minister. So Tom organized this, again, testament to his creativity and genius, and certainly to his humanity.
Thank you. Again, you don't have to come forward, just raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone. But you're also welcome to come forward. So that's great.
My name is Ann Madison, and I'm a classical pianist and a piano teacher. And Dr. Ediger was my piano teacher. I started lessons with him at the end of 5th grade. It took with him about 5.5 years, and it changed my life. I don't think I'd be doing what I do, perhaps if he hadn't been here. Every week, Mom and I get in the car, drive down to Peru. It's a good time for us to talk too. But I remember through my probably 13-year-old eyes, standing in the hallway outside his office waiting for him to come. Usually about 2 or 3 minutes late, he'd bounce down the hallway with a big key ring. And I realize now what a journey that was for me, how he opened my eyes and how challenged I was by him, and how he helped me to realize things were possible for me that I had never imagined. And I loved his attitude. On the one hand, he had a really high standard. And on the other hand, he didn't want me to take it too seriously. And he made me laugh. And we had fun. And that's a wonderful balance that I strive for as a teacher. I realize now that many of the experiences that I try to give to my students, I first experienced with him. And he was a very generous person. He donated a lot of his time. He wasn't compensated probably for half the work that he did. And he always had a smile on his face, and he did it happily. And that's an inspiration for me to try to be more generous myself and with my students. And when I think about him more than anything, I just want to tell him thank you. And I'm sure many of you do too. And it's said that God is never outdone in generosity. And so it is my great hope that he's being showered with blessings and joy. Thanks for honoring him today.
Hi, I'm Jacob Buss, a very recently former student of Dr. Ediger. I can remember coming in May of 2009 for my audition for the big music scholarship. This was right after we did a music contest that same day, as I'm sure Tom can remember. We had no accompanist for this piece, and I was ready to sing a cappella. I came in, he said no, on the spot, he accompanied me, basically. And it was from that point that he started changing my life. This man was amazing to me. He was my mentor, my professor, my guide, and most of all, the closest thing I've ever had to a father. He pushed me to new limits, and he drove me to be the best I could be. I'd have to say my fondest memory of him, which I assume most of my former classmates remember, is when we were having a cast party at his house after the magical dinner. And he begrudgingly played heart and soul in every single variety you can think of. And we know it killed him. but he didn't because we enjoyed it. I always remember Dr. Ediger for the kindness, motivation, and how much he pushed his students to be the best they can be. Thank you.
Well, I was Clopton, and I was a student until August 20th. And I just kind of wanted to share probably one of the most important lessons I've ever had with him. And I was about 11 or 12 years old, and I was up at his house because in the summer we always had lessons at his house. And we were playing this song. It was a rag. And I was playing it, and I sucked at it. And then there was a specific spot in general that I just couldn't get. And I'd play it, and I just kind of, and then he'd make me say, all right, let's do it again. So we moved up, and we got to that spot, and so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and he kept making me go. And I kept getting frustrated. And it got to the point that I started getting like frustrated, with tears coming out of my eyes, and he gave me a tissue, told me to keep going. And it got to the point, and I don't know how this happened, but this finger right on the side cut open, and there's a bunch of blood coming down my hand. And so Doc's like, oh, well, let's get you a tissue, and so he put pressure on my finger, and I thought right there in my brain that, oh, we can give up now. And so he's joking to me about blood, sweat, and tears, and so my finger stopped bleeding eventually, and he looks at me and he smiles and he says, let's do it again. So I finally got it, and really got to thank him because once I got that, I never got it wrong again, and I kind of knew from that point forward that I could do anything because he taught me to.